Thank you, Acting Speaker, and I rise to speak on the 24-25 state budget. I'd firstly like to thank the Treasurer and his team for putting another budget together. It's certainly no easy task to do, and there are many challenges to overcome, as we are all aware. But I do truly believe that we have the best people on our side to conduct this important work, which is to deliver for all Victorians a fair and equitable budget to progress our great state and continue the fantastic work that this Labor government does. I remember on the evening of the budget announcement, I went outside and I spoke to one of the television reporters that was talking about the budget. And we had a quick chat, and he said to me, "You know, Paul, it's a fair budget. It's the sort of budget we needed." And I was a little bit shocked, but I was grateful. And I said, "Well, can you say something nice on television?" And sure enough, he actually made a positive comment on the nightly news about the budget. So I'm very grateful for that. And he's correct. It's the budget we needed for this time. Now, last year I was privileged and honoured to have given my first speech in this place. I spoke how I wanted to keep communities connected and using a seat at the table to advocate and push for real change in my electorate, which hadn't been seen really for 16 years because we had a Liberal incumbent. Now, one of those ways to keep our communities connected is quite simple: public transport. Now, I've spoken about this many, many times, the fact that you cannot get a bus to go from the Western Port side of the Mornington Peninsula to the Port Phillip side without actually making a long detour, for instance, from Hastings up to Frankston, change the bus in Frankston or even catch the train up there, and then catch the bus from Frankston back to Mornington. It's a 2 to 2.5 hour trip. I'm very happy to say that in last year's budget, the 23-24 budget, I got money for planning for a cross-peninsula bus service, and I'm very grateful to say that in the 24-25 budget I got further money for infrastructure and community engagement. So that community engagement has happened. It happened in September and October. Incredibly positive. People are talking about it in my electorate, and they can't wait until we progress further with getting the bus. I certainly look forward to joining with many members of my community and jumping on the first bus to go from Hastings to Mornington in maybe 20 minutes, and I promise that I will tap on. That's what a seat at the table can achieve, Acting Speaker. Another matter I raised in my inaugural speech was the sad fact that people feel like Western Port is the forgotten side of Mornington Peninsula. But I do believe the tide is turning, though. The more I go out in the community, the more I see pride in people and what they're doing and achieving, be that through the business they run, community group they volunteer for, or just simply the fact that they just love where they live. But those people need our support too, so they don't feel forgotten, which is why this government is delivering for them. Now, we all know that our local sporting clubs and the volunteers that run them can certainly stretch a dollar pretty far. So whatever you give them is utilised to its maximum potential. I was recently at the Somerville Recreation Reserve, well, not recently, quite a while ago, with the Premier. I'm very grateful that she came down, and it's the home of Somerville Eagles senior and junior football clubs and netball clubs, Somerville Bowling Club, Somerville Cricket Club, and also Somerville Tennis Club. And we were there to announce $300,000 in the budget that was going to them for much needed work and upgrades to their facilities. There are over 54 clubs going through the Somerville Recreation Reserve, so it is a much loved ground and it is a very much used ground. I know that they will make the best of that funding, and I also look forward to seeing the works complete. Additionally, there was $100,000 given to the Hastings Tennis Club so that they can do some work around their club. They have full courts playing every weekend, and I know they will welcome any type of support. They've recently had lighting upgrades, and they're also about to have some court upgrades on 2 courts that aren't in use at the moment. So getting more people on the courts to have a hit, keep up their fitness, also helps mental health, because we know playing any type of sport has positive benefits on our minds and our bodies, and that's something I'm sure we can all agree that we need all the time. Let's keep it positive. So thanks to Ron, Peter, Debbie, Adrian, Karen, Sam and Daryl for continuing to advocate for all your clubs. The effort you put in is what makes things like this happen, and I will continue to work with you for what the future holds. That's what a seat at the table can achieve. What's also exciting about this budget is that it will continue to invest and provide for young families and Victorians through all levels of education. From our youngest in kinders across the state that are thriving because of our landmark building blocks grants, providing newly built kinders, additional rooms or play spaces, and to those that are also making their places of learning for everyone by putting inclusive equipment and practices in place that are for all kids. Because every child deserves to have the best early education possible with as little barriers as possible. I've been fortunate to visit some of our wonderful kinders across the electorate of Hastings and see firsthand what these grants are achieving. I've also visited these kindergartens with the former Premier, Dan Andrews, but also with other current members and ministers, and it's always great to visit the kinders and read them a story, especially when they want to sit in your lap, not the teachers, the kids, or the minister, just the kids, because obviously they're having a good time and they feel good. We've supplied money to different communities for kinders for IT equipment so they can continue to provide education. We also visited earlier this year the new site of the Long Street Kindergarten in Langwarrin, which will soon be co-located at the Langwarrin Community Centre, providing so many young families in Langwarrin with additional and much needed kindergarten places. But, Acting Speaker, the support for families and kids at school doesn't stop there. Whenever I'm out and about talking with parents or schools, there's been a common theme. Is there any help for them to pay for various school costs like camps or uniforms? And of course we all know what the answer to that is. And this is why every student enrolled at a government school and eligible families at non-government schools will have access to the $400 school saving bonus. Now this money can be used for school camps, excursions, sporting activities and all those little extras that do run up a bill for families. We are providing much needed relief to those that need it, and we know that any extra investment in our kids' education is just a positive step for the future. The $400 school bonus saving is building upon the incredible work that this Labor government has done since 2014 in our schools. I've seen a few of the Smile Squad vans in action, and I must say they are fantastic. Essentially a dentist practice on wheels. They provide students with free dental care and teach them the importance of keeping your teeth and gums clean and healthy. The staff are all very friendly as well, with oral health therapists, dentists, dental assistants and more, providing a much needed service to our kids. When I was a kid, we didn't have a van that came to our school. I know I've spoken about this before. We used to have to catch a bus to Freo to the dental clinic, which were full of students, and it wasn't a very good experience. Mum used to bribe us with a block of Cadbury's chocolate afterwards if we went. So I'm very grateful for the dental vans. Additional funding of $6.8 million is included in the 24-25 budget that will expand on the Glasses for Kids program, an awesome program that provides prep to Year 3 students at participating schools with the chance to get free vision screening and further eye testing, and if needed, a pair of glasses. Now that kids have beaming smiles and can see much better, they also need to be learning on a full stomach. We've committed a further $21.1 million into our hugely successful Schools Breakfast Club programs across the state. No child should have to come to school hungry or try to learn whilst their focus is on a meal. This will provide students with a healthy breakfast, lunch, snacks, or possibly a take-home pack for those that need it. With all the stresses kids must deal with these days, having to go through it all with a growling stomach should not be happening. That's what having a seat at the table can achieve. So being part of a Labor government that has implemented gender-responsive budgeting is truly incredible. In Victoria, we make sure that when we make decisions, that we are thinking about how it will impact all of our population, not half like in the past, like the male half, but all of the population. I've said this before in my inaugural speech, that during my time as a dancer in a ballet company, men and women were all equal. There were only people working incredibly hard together. Men lifted women, women lifted men. We worked together as a team of equals. everyone giving everything to the performance, to the audience, to each other. It was only when I left this world, or that world, and then to the business world that I saw this concept of women not being equal of men, and it stunned me. Now, 2 years into this term, I'm proud of the ongoing commitment and hard work by the Allan Labor government for true equality within our government and within our communities. In this budget, we are continuing the funding of Respectful Relationships, which is a program that is helping students, teachers and carers understand how gender norms can affect attitudes and behaviour within society. That's gender-responsive budgeting in action. That's why it's incredibly important that we look through multiple lenses when it comes to policy ideas and implementation. And with this Parliament finally achieving gender parity, their seats at the table have been achieved. Having a seat at the table has achieved that. Now, I've spoken about some of the things that this budget has achieved, some of the money that my community has received from this budget to help build a better and stronger community. On top of that, the Labor government continues to support my electorate by funding a variety of community needs that are not budget bids, but are ongoing commitments. We've announced a variety of funding. St Jude's Primary School in Langwarrin received $1.8 million in the Non-Government Schools Fund. This will create 3 new learning spaces and renovate 4 classrooms in the old junior building. Also, we've announced $230,000 combined in bushfire preparedness grants for Western Port Secondary College, Summers School Camp, Woodlands Primary School, Balnarring Primary School, Tye Primary School, Hastings Primary School, Crib Point Primary School and Perseverance Primary School in French Island. Last year, Bunjilwarra Koori Health Service received up to $335,000 over 3 years. Bitton Primary School received $3 million for upgrading and modernising their classrooms. This year, Western Port Secondary College opened their new $11.5 million learning hub for junior and senior students, and I thank the Deputy Premier for coming down. In fact, coming down for a morning tea with 20 local principals from the various schools, and we also opened the facilities. Also this year, Flinders College, Christian College community opened the Joshua Centre with the Allan Labor government, contributed $1.5 million, and just recently they've received some further grant funding, I believe, for kindergarten planning. The Frankston Naval Memorial Club in Langwarrin South received a Veterans Improvement Grant of $34,500, which they used to install solar panels, and in May a further $46,000 for new storage sheds. Over $90,000 combined in living local grants given to Willa Moraine, Western Port Men's Shed, Sages Cottage, Abacus Learning and Presentation Family Centre was awarded to enable community organisations to continue their important work for funds for minor building refurbishments or to acquire equipment. Over the last couple of years, we've funded $271,000 for the Hastings boat ramp, pontoon renewal, and included provisions for a hoist to enable all abilities. We've had $37,000 combined in active school grants for Western Port Secondary College and other primary schools in my electorate. And this is to implement a whole school approach to improve student physical activity. We've had Tiny Town funds. Western Port Biosphere received $8,000 to deliver informative and visually striking signage for French Island to highlight the hidden treasures that the island possesses. They also received $930,000 to upgrade the boat ramp on French Island, and that work is about to commence, which is great. There's been further funding. We got over $10 million for the Maya Road roundabout, which is Maya Road Coolart, which is very dangerous. All up, these bits and pieces where people will often say we don't get any funding, we don't get any support, well, all up, it probably represents almost over $30 million of funding that the Allan Labor government is pumping into my electorate to support my community, and I'm very grateful for that. Speaker, post-COVID, we're certainly living in a vastly different economic time and the challenges that governments face in the past. Inflation and rising costs are being felt all over the world, and no government is immune to these pressures, which is why I believe this budget balances out the need to be financially responsible while still delivering for Victorians across education, healthcare, business and all aspects of life. I will continue to fight for my community. I thank the Treasurer for this budget.